Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weishaupt, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us. We appreciate it very, very much. And it's always nice to bring some people on, let you meet them, and just kind of see the new role that they'll have in our community and what they'll be doing. And so we're excited about bringing in the new executive director of BTNEP, Bren Haas. Hey, Bren, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Keith. How are you?
Doing very, very well. Thank you. So first and foremost, congratulations on the new role at the Terrebonne National Estuary Program. We call it BTNEP, as most people kind of shorten it to that. So congratulations on the new role.
Thank you very much. I'm super excited to be starting in that role and really looking forward to hitting the ground running and getting to work.
Yeah, very good. Tell us a little bit about you, a little bit about your history and how we got to this position.
Yeah, so I'm a Southeast Louisiana resident, lifelong resident. Have grown up enjoying Louisiana's coast and parts even farther north. Lots of the National Estuary runs, of course, from Point Capee down to the coast between the Atchafalaya and Mississippi rivers.
Right.
Really grew up in that region and went to school to learn about the ecology and biology of our coastal wetlands and wildlife and fish and all of that stuff, and have been working in that field either with the Department of Natural Resources, a little bit with the federal government as well, but mostly, most recently and for most of that time has been spent working with the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority.
Right. Very good. And I know along those years, 30 years or so, working in the field, what is it about this field that's so exciting and enjoyable for you?
Well, it's just as rewarding of an endeavor as I can imagine. First of all, the uniqueness of Southeast Louisiana is second to none in terms of the people, the culture, of course, the natural resources as well that are here. And I've just always had a liking to those things and enjoyed. It's why I live here. Of course, I was born here, but it's the reason I stay here and have chosen to raise my family here as well. So it's just there's no other place like it on earth. It's a unique place where our the third largest river in the world reaches the sea, and that is just a really special place and something that's very unique and worth preserving and restoring.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's really unique. You have something very, very similar to my brother-in-law, who his dad is an icon over at Auburn University, and we've given Jake a pass for that. Because his dad, who has worked for NASA for many, many years, still a consultant with them. And so Jake gets a pass because he forwarded his education at LSU. And it seems like that's been one of your paths as well. Tell me what it's like going from Auburn Tiger to LSU Tiger.
Well, kept it in the SEC, but I did go to Auburn to get an undergraduate degree in marine biology. It was good to get out of town a little bit, right? Get out of the state and experience some other things. But I came to my senses and came back and have a master's degree at LSU.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so a tiger, if you will. We'll just call you a bona fide tiger through and through.
That's right.
And I got to tell you, listen, people that find a way to go to work in this area, Lumcon seems to be one of those places that is just is rather unique in being able to check out the ecology that we have down in these estuaries.
Yeah, absolutely. You said Lumcon. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, funny story. One of the really ways that I have sort of embarked on this path was a visit to the Lumcon facility when it was just a year or two old. It was very, very new when I was in high school in one of my biology classes. And so we did a field trip there and was just fascinated with it. And certainly that was always in the back of my mind as I was choosing the path that I would go down, both for my education, obviously, as in my professional career as well. So in many ways, I could say Lumcon's is to blame.
I know that's right. It's such a unique facility, and I think it gives you a different perspective on waterways, a different perspective on ecology that you can't necessarily learn just from what you see. Like my love of fishing and love of understanding fishing and fisheries has allowed me to do the same thing. I was introduced to LimCon back in high school as well, for similarly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And much as you just described, kind of the desire to understand how the system works, to understand how the fish and the wildlife and the wetlands and the marsh and the water and all of that works together, was a big time motivating factor to kind of set me on this path. And LimCon was a big piece of that.
Yeah. Well, I know you've been in several big leadership positions in a lot of these similar arenas. Tell me what it was like with the option to be able to come and do that here with BTNEP.
Yeah, I have been. I've been in various leadership positions here at CPRA, and love it here at CPRA, absolutely, and certainly lots of good people here doing lots of good work, and that'll continue. But just time, I think, for a new challenge, time to try something a little different. BTNEP, extends a little bit further out of the coastal zone, and so that'll be a little bit different for me. And there are some focuses that aren't exactly the same as what we do here at CPRA, but there certainly is a lot of overlap, a lot of similarity as well. So a little bit of change of scenery, and maybe a bit of just a change in focus is something that was attractive to me. And I think BTNEP has been a fantastic organization serving the folks of the Southeast Louisiana for 30 plus years now, and I'm very excited to be joining the good team that's there now, continue some of that good work, and certainly to build upon and expand upon and improve where we can on that work.
Yeah, I tell you, we're really, really proud of the coastline that we have here. Very, very proud of all the effort and the energy that's going into really preserving it, to saving it, and to whatever we can do to continue that. So congratulations to you on the role. What we'd like to do is take a short break and then maybe talk to you a little bit about some of your goals and aspirations for this new role as the new executive director over with BTNEP. So we'll take a short break if you'll do that with us.
Absolutely.
All right, we appreciate it. All right, guys, we're going to take a short break. You do that with us. We'll be right back right here on this edition of Bayou Time.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very, very much. Very excited to have with us on the line the new executive director, Mr. Brent Haas of BTNEP, of course, the Terrebonne National Estuary Program. A whole lot of words to say at one time, and that's why so many of us refer to it as BTNEP. But again, congratulations and thank you very much for joining us once again.
Of course. Happy to.
Very good. What are some of the things that as you came into the role that maybe some things that you saw that or things that you kind of want to build upon that's already kind of being done?
Sure. Well, so the overall mission, of course, of the Terrebonne National Estuary Program is to preserve and restore the estuary itself. And so I can think, kind of big picture of no nobler, if you will, or finer endeavor to try to accomplish. As we discussed previously, it's such a unique place. It's such an important place. The issues facing the estuary and the communities within the estuary, the people that live here, are really existential problems. When you think about the tremendous amount of loss of our coastal landscape, coastal wetlands, and then all the resources that go with that, including cultures, right? Cultures of the folks that live here. So I think building out on many of the parts of the overall program, whether that be water quality, wildlife, fisheries, some of the culture that I mentioned earlier, all of those things are things that I certainly hope to further and to build upon, and we'll be standing certainly on the shoulders of giants, the folks that came before us and have worked in this estuary for years and years through this program and others. I do think I bring a little bit of certainly an outside perspective, right? I haven't worked for BTNEP in the past, though I've worked with and around BTNEP, and have certainly worked along our coast for many, many years. So I'm hoping I can bring that hopefully wealth of knowledge, the potential to partner with other organizations, other entities, whether those be government or NGOs, or industry for that matter, across the basin and the estuary, and hope to be able to bring that to the table as well. I think that'll be helpful and hopefully productive for the overall program.
Well, certainly being named with some of the awards that you've gotten over the years certainly says that you're certainly beneficial in being able to make those partnerships. And I know working with CPRA has got to have been one of those things that have kind of that foot that led into being able to partner and become a part of BTNEP here in your present and now future.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We certainly work with a lot of stakeholders from across the coast here at CPRA, and I see myself as a coalition builder and being able to build build consensus through collaborative processes, which is what BTNEP really is all about. And certainly excited to continue that and bring my skills to the table to continue to do that here in the estuary.
Yeah, it's one of the things I brag about all the time in our area. It's one of those things, Morganza to the Gulf, and all of the things that it stands for, right? And all the work that's been done across parishes has kind of allowed us to really make a difference in various stages. That's going to be something that's going to kind of echo as you guys work together with all of the different governmental agencies, as well as with some of these other districts, and kind of figuring out what the best way is to preserve this very rich culture that we have.
Yeah, no doubt about it. In my role here, we've worked, of course, with the Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District, the South Lafourche Levee District, the North Lafourche Levee District, and on and on. But specific to the Morganza project, what a success that's been with the folks within the estuary, really putting their money where their mouth is, taxing themselves to get started, not waiting on the federal government to come and save our bacon, if you will. The state, of course, has been a huge partner in that, and we at CPRA have been a huge partner in that. And the results are clear when you think about, almost 12,000 homes flooding for a storm surge for Hurricane Rita, and then just 15 or so years later with Hurricane Barry. And because of the work and the stuff, the assets that have been put on the ground, the levees, flood walls, floodgates, and so forth, you went from about 12,000 homes flooding to about 11 homes flooding. Those are real results that are very, very meaningful, obviously, for the citizens in the Bayou region, and looking forward to continuing to help achieve those in my new role at BTNEP.
Yeah, and then moving forward to Idaho with none, just being able to see all of the work that was done with that. So very exciting. If there's one thing that you're really looking forward to in this new role as executive director, I know maybe you may be able to not be able to pinpoint just one, but is there something you really, I know you want to continue the great work that's being done, and with CPRA have been doing that as well, but what are some of the things you're really looking forward to in this role?
I'm very so BTNEP is a little bit of a smaller organization, of course, than CPRA, and so I'm very much looking forward to getting into the details a little more than I've been able to do at CPRA, and kind of getting my hands a little dirtier, if you will, or getting into the weeds a little bit more. I'm excited about that. Working a little more closely with staff and a little bit more closely on some of the projects and programs and efforts that are being done on the ground that I've been able to do in my recent positions. That's very, very exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to working with the management conference. So, BTNEP is governed by a large group of stakeholders, again, through a science, based but consensus-driven decision-making process. And so, there are folks from all walks of life, other government agencies, NGOs, industry, citizens, everyday citizens throughout the basin. I'm very much looking forward to working closely and hand in hand with that conference and with the individuals on that conference to accomplish the goals of the program.
Well, we certainly wish you the best. Congratulations once again. We thank you for joining us today, and best of luck in your next endeavors as executive director.
It's been a pleasure, and hope to be back with you sometime in the near future to talk about some of those successes.
Sounds great. We appreciate it. Thank you, Brent. All right, guys, that will do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. A whole lot more right here on HTV.
Here at Rouse's, we have our own brands of products, which you'll find down every aisle of our stores. These are the best quality at the best price. They compare to the national brands we sell, but at a lower cost. Most are made right here, but we travel the world too. And we personally taste test and guarantee every item. So if our name's on the label, you can trust it's good. Rouse's brand, best quality at the best price.